Good evening and welcome, my dear friends. Good to have you here with me on this bitterly cold night here in the South Lakes in the United Kingdom. And I welcome those who've not logged in and pray that one day that you too will have the courage to master the technology of logging in. But it is good to have our brothers and sisters around this table of love, for all that we do is done in the name of love. So if you have a candle handy, would you like to light your candle? A flame for peace, for compassion, for justice and equality, and for women of violence in the world. We light our lights in thanksgiving to our Father, Mother, God Supreme, who creates all life, in the name of the risen cosmic Christ, who loves life and who takes no prisoners, in the name of the Spirit, who is the fire of God, the fire of divine love, in the name of Gaia, our beloved Earth Mother, for she nurtures the divine light within your heart and mine and the animal kingdom, and in the name of all faith traditions, for they are the children of God, our brothers and sisters, members of the mystical heart of God, and in the name of spiritual diversity, on behalf of all my brothers and sisters of the Teo community of Interfaith Franciscans, I welcome you to this table of love. Let us share with one another that greatest gift, the gift of love, divine love. Let us be still now. Let us relax and come back to our heart. A heart that is so often broken and torn, dishevelled, confused by man's inhumanity to man. But you and I are empowered by the Spirit of God to take our power back and take responsibility for our life. And as a member of the Teo community, our community of brothers and sisters, take responsibility for the cries of God, for the suffering children of God, who are wounding as we speak. I would like to share with you our commitment as Interfaith Franciscans. I will honor your traditions, holy wisdom's sacred space. I will cherish your devotions, faithful prayers, abundant grace. When your paths are steep and lonely, in the shadows of the night, know that I will stand with you to greet the ever-coming light. As the wondrous mysteries deepen, as through earth and stars we roam, you are mighty, dear companions, in the ways that bring us home. Life is one, the source is one within and one above, one in joy as we awaken, one in healing, peace and love. So often as human beings, don't we forget many of the wonderful treasures we've received? I know as I'm approaching pensionable age in a matter of weeks now, I shall be 65 and I don't know where the years have gone. But when I was 12, I wanted to be 21. And when I was 21, I wanted to be 40. And now that I'm approaching 65, I'm thinking, why did I wish my life away? I guess that's something we all share. But I don't wish to be 21 again. For when I look at the beautiful gift of creation that God has given to us, and when I see the impact of man's inhumanity to man, I think, no, I would rather continue growing older and use this time wisely to prepare the rest of how many years I've left, to honor my heart, to listen to the beloved, and with the help of God, not to stray so much by wallowing in the past, but by focusing on the miracles of now. Many of you will probably still remember the significance of 2012, especially the 21st of December 2012. It was the end of the Piscean era that reigned for 2,000 years, and we began a new dawn of enlightenment, the dawn of Aquarius. We dwell in the Christ consciousness, that ever-present mystical expression of divine oneness, as it is embodied by the great wisdom teachers from all traditions. We embrace the interspirituality of these teachers as interfaith Franciscans, recognizing that the ultimate message is one of love. Love for oneself and for one's neighbor, as well as for one's enemy. And through the example of St. Francis and St. Clare, we model our lives on simplicity, not duplicity, and we strive, with the help of one another and of God, to be stewards of Mother Earth and the animal kingdom, stewards for Gaia, and to be of service wherever we can for the cosmic Christ. In total, that is the journey of an oblate, a tertiary oblate, a novice, a monastic within our family. We are here not to be clever. We are here to be simple-minded and to live from the heart, to listen to the heart. And that takes courage, don't you think? Yes, I think it does. And I think it takes a brave person today to admit that when things are going wrong, that they share with you, that they've realized they've done wrong, and that they fall on their knees in the presence of divine love and say, I'm ready to receive the gift of Christ consciousness. But remember, when you ask for the gift of Christ consciousness, you're also embracing a new ideology, a new way of life. Oh yes. and that the cosmic Christ doesn't suffer fools gladly, and most definitely does not take prisoners or those wallowing in victimhood. The cosmic Christ is asking for soldiers, for men and women who are willing to face their fear, to name it, to bless it, to release it, and then showing gratitude to God to get on with their life. But so many offer their life, but then they take several steps back and they get embroiled in their mindsets of fear, anger, control, deception. Let us come together. Let us be a people of honesty. Let not fear destroy our relationship with a loving God. Earlier on, I was drawn to open this beautiful manuscript that's part of the formation of training for our oblate novices, entering the castle. And I was guided to page 24. And it reads, and you may find some of the words challenging, but they're liberating. You never know how God is going to get you. Wow, that's a big one. What is God asking of you? What is your soul calling you to do or to be in your life now? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now. What purpose is your life's journey? When you enter the castle, that's your soul, you will find some of the answers. Seeing your soul as a castle and yourself as a mystic is like having new lens through which to look at your life. You can see more clearly. Notice the shapes of events and the patterns more sharply. You don't want to use an old paradigm or an old pair of glasses to find a new path for your soul. And you don't want to use a new pair of glasses in the wrong way. The spiritual journey is not an emotional journey, but it is a journey of highs and lows. I have many lows. I don't have many highs. And more often than not, each day, though a struggle to get out of bed because of depression, but I don't focus on the depression. I focus on the one whom I'm in service to, and I ask for divine guidance and help. And inevitably I get the kick up the butt to get her going. And when I come into prayer, more often than not, I'm not in the mood to pray. But by making an effort, that's when God truly touches us. For He knows that we are willing participants at the table of love. Sometimes we've welcomed into our community wonderful men and women, talented, gifted, creative. But many gave up the ghost when things didn't go their way. They found the uphill struggle too great. They missed the pull of the world, the clamoring of being at noisy parties, drinking. They missed their videos. Some of them were quite seedy. But what they found very difficult was to surrender their heart completely to God. They wanted to hold a little bit back that they could call their meanness, yes. But when God touches you and speaks to your heart, He's not asking you to give up everything. He's inviting you to receive. Yeah. God has no need for your sacrifice because God is God. But God has one gift for you and me, and that is to share divine love. A love that will encompass you. A love that will empower you to come from selfishness and moodiness and childishness and victimhood to surrender your life to love. And there is no greater love than to be touched by your God, Goddess. For many are called, said Jesus, or as we used to say in the monastery when so many would join and within 3 months they disappeared. They couldn't hack getting up at 5 a.m. They couldn't hack no central heating. They were pampered pooches. Oh yes. They wanted the luxury of a 5-star hotel, and they wanted it as a holiday camp. It was amazing back in the 60s. And the senior novices, we would look at one another and we would say, we'll give this brother 2 weeks. They're worried about their nails, and they're worried about not having their hairdresser cut the hair. Is that the spiritual life? No. The spiritual life is a personal invitation by God to come as you are, whether you're gay or straight, whether you're able-bodied or disabled-bodied, whether you're widowed, single, married, divorced, whether you're tall or short, whether you've got teeth or dentures, you're invited to come. And you're invited to receive the pearl of great price. For me, that pearl is a thirst. It's an insatiable thirst, like a diabetic's thirst. You can't quench it. And the more you come closer to that divine oneness, the more your heart grows. The more it finds peace and stillness. And you are given an inner strength to face your greatest fear, even your disabilities, whether it's mental or physical, emotional or psychological. God gives you an amazing inner strength to turn around your illness, for it becomes a prayer rather than an inconvenience. And you walk away from being preoccupied by your moods, your feelings, to taking on the mindset of God. Excuse me. Let us relax now. I want you to come with me and sit in our monastery garden. All around our garden we have various chimes. Chimes of metal and wood. Chimes made up to to represent the different elements. But at the bottom of the garden we have a corner dedicated to the Divine Feminine. And it's a very peaceful little corner where people hang different coloured ribbons, their prayer requests to the Divine Mother. And right next to it there's like a little tiny garden within a garden where it's hidden by bracken and bushes. And I always leave a plastic chair there, a garden chair, so I can sit. Or we have travellers that just come and we find them sitting in the garden. We don't know who they are. Excuse me. But I find that when I sit there and look at the statue of Mother Mary, I talk to her as my mother, and there's a closeness and a bond. And I want you now to sit with me in the garden and just relax. And in the front garden we've got 3 water pumps creating the different water features, and the sound of the running water is good feng shui. It's healing for the troubled soul. Listen to that water now. And be aware. Be aware of this season now that we've come into winter. Many of the trees have lost their flowers and their leaves, but there's an energy. Nature has regrouped and is hibernating, recouping its energies and strengths for the springtime of life. And Frances and Claire with Gaia invite you to come and recoup your energy as you sit, well wrapped up, and your senses are greeted with the sounds of the wildlife. You can feel the rays of Brother Sun touching your forehead, allowing you to relax from the worries of some trauma. And you can sense all around you the divine masculine and feminine energies of God. And they come to you. And they sit with you. And they speak with you. And before you is the cosmic Christ and Miriam Magdalena. And they touch you by holding your hand and gently stroking your hand, assuring you that you're okay. Yes, they're aware that you've wasted years focused on self, maybe focused on unfulfilled dreams, but they're aware that you have the potential to grow and evolve into a beautiful being of love. And as they hold you, you sense the presence of your God Goddess affirming you that you are a child of God, that you are here on this earth plane not for selfish reasons or hedonistic, feeding your appetite, but to embrace the holy in all of creation, to embrace your God in the cathedral of God, the landscape. And all around you there are angels and archangels praising God for you, for overcoming the many obstacles that have tried to separate you from your truth and to convince you that you're rubbish, your life is meaningless. The Antichrist is real as the glasses on my face. I have encountered the Antichrist in my life. And if I spend too much time in my head, focusing, pondering, procrastinating, then I would very quickly have this habit off and probably be a geriatric lap dancer in some seedy place. But there go I, but for the grace of God. And I'm not here to sit in judgment on you. I'm here to hold your hand and empower you. Take responsibility for your life. If you want the miracles to happen, they will happen. But you've to initiate them by getting off your butt, by being positive, by being creative, because you are a co-creator of God. You're a child of God, and you are loved. And the divine does not ask you to sacrifice anything. That's a mistruth. It's the greatest sacrilege that's ever been given to us. The Father, Mother, God are inviting you now in this sacred garden to receive the gift of selfless love, the gift of unconditional love. Feel it around your feet. Feel the tingling from Gaia's love. And the animal kingdom are brushing against you. Our 3 little doggies are there with you, as I'm sure Brother Chewy in Philadelphia is rubbing against the sister's feet in the little monastery of St. Clair there. As I'm sure with Pam, her little pooch is there. Each one of us is given an incredible gift from God to be a lover of the animal kingdom. That's part of being a Franciscan. Because when we hold and caress an animal, we are holding an angelic being in disguise, because they bring love. They bring love. And I'm always wary of people who say they don't like animals. They're not Franciscan. They're something else, but they're definitely not Franciscan. Because Francis' animals found him and they loved him. So you're sat in the monastery garden, you're totally relaxed. And waves of love are flowing into you and all around you. And there is a gentleness, a softness that's reawakening your heart now to take responsibility for your life and not to have any expectations that others will rescue you. For that is not the call of a beloved. A disciple called by God is not one who waits to be called. They follow their heart. And yes, we have to make some effort and maybe some sacrifice to say no to ego and yes to love. You are a co-creator of God. You have the same gifts that have been given to me. And though I struggle each day, like now, all I'm doing is relaying what my heart is receiving from God. for you. Be at peace in your heart. Be at peace in your soul.